Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, viewers of all ages, welcome to the Everything and Nothing Show. I'm one of your hosts with the mostest, Clayton Kisco, and I'm accompanied by the rest of the Maelstrom gamers. With us today, we have the bad boy himself, Cop Show's #1 fan, Steve Landis.
Cue the music.
Pew pew pew.
Boom, 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 boom. And we got some kind of like crazy thing with the light. I don't even know what's going on over here. The heartthrob, Rocco Avellino.
Dude, I've got magical
Strobe
powers.
effect.
No, this is not a strobe effect. This is my magical energy ball on the top of my head.
If it looks like a strobe effect, we got to put the warning on there because people could have seizures. Rocco, you don't want to be a part of that. And rounding out the cast with us today, we have the Enigma, Ian. Now remember, guys, he's got a mask on his face. We don't want to see this guy's face. We're kind of getting annoyed. We can hear him, but we can't see him. And if you want to do that, you can go on to patreon.com/maelstromgamers, and you can give as little as $1 to help contribute. And then we have different rewards. If we get to $40 more a month, this mask's coming off. If we get a couple extra more dollars a month, we're going to be doing new shows. We're going to do new stuff. We're going to be taking that money. We're going to put it back into the show. We're going to get like new mics, new video cameras, all that good stuff. Doing the show. It's as little as $1. It helps support us, and we would really appreciate it. But listen, we understand if you don't have money either. You can support us for free. You can go on our Facebook page, or you can go on our Twitter. You can like us, follow us. You can follow us at Maelstrom Gamers, and then comment, subscribe. Check out our YouTube page where you can find all these videos at youtube.com/MaelstromGamers. And for those of you who don't know the format of the show, each of these guys, we jump on a Skype. We each have a topic. We bring it for our discussion, but more importantly for your entertainment. And then each topic is doled out Monday through Friday, topic by topic, and then the full episode is on Saturday. You can get it all. You can also go to the YouTube page and check out previous episodes and previous full episodes and topics.
Also, yeah, if you get the bag off his face, you can draw stuff on his face if you want. And we could just...
Oh, yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, we could
No, that would.
draw anything.
with a permanent marker, too.
wouldn't.
Yes.
Yeah, let him go to work like that.
We also have an Instagram account. You can go on our Instagram page, Maelstrom Gamers, and you can check us out. You can follow us there. That free support about following, liking, subscribing, commenting, it's super, super helpful, and we really appreciate it. Those who've been doing it currently, thank you so much. It's awesome. It's been fun to discuss these topics with you.
Amigos and amigas.
That's right. So, without any further ado, let's get rolling here. Rocco, the heartthrob.
All right, I'm going to go. Okay,
I would
I'm
like
going
you to go
first. Here it is. My topic is about afterlife. So, or death, I guess let's just call it too. My point is, I have a question for you guys. There's a lot of religions, spirituality, beliefs of there's an afterlife after this life. And I feel like a lot of people are more looking forward to this idea of this afterlife because it's supposed to be this, great nirvana kind of place instead of actually existing and living life right now here today. So I have a question for you guys, which is, do you guys think that can possibly happen? Do you guys have a belief in the afterlife, something that happens outside of this? And do you think that if you do have that belief, that it hinders you sometimes from actually living today and now with this expectation of something great and grand in the future instead?
Yeah, I feel like we talked a little bit about this when we talked about like ghosts when Steve brought up that topic. But I don't know, my thought is I have a really, the way that I am spiritually is I have a very hard time believing something like the afterlife.
Yeah.
I do just my gut keeps telling me, as hard as this is for someone like my mom to like hear, is like I just think it's just like going to sleep. Like it's just that's the last thing you're gonna feel and think about, and it's just darkness.
I gotcha. Yeah.
I don't necessarily believe in afterlife or reincarnation or anything like that. So I think my answer is a little bit boring. But I also mentioned in Steve's topic that I do believe in ghosts and stuff. So maybe your conscious is not around, but like your spirit could roam a little bit or something. Like I actually can see that happening, but I don't. I feel like there's an end there too. Like, or I don't know. I just don't.
But is
believe
there a
there's
spirit,
like
or is there something like that? If
I
there's
feel
like,
I feel like there is. There's energy, right? It might not. Spirit might not be the word, but
okay.
I feel like there's something. But I just don't believe that there's like a heaven with like an endless amount of cupcakes to eat and like the pool full of Reese's Pieces.
Right. So my question then is to you is that do you think that a lot of people, if you met anybody that has the belief in the afterlife, do you feel like sometimes they're kind of, expecting more out of that than they are here in this life? Do you think it kind of hinders them from enjoying some, or no?
Yes, absolutely. But I think when you were describing that, you might have been thinking about the nice church-going mom or grandma or like father. But when I heard that, I also immediately thought about like terrorist organizations. Like,
Yeah.
they're willing to give up absolutely everything in their life because they know they're going to be greeted with virgins or they're going to have like an amazing afterlife. So they don't value this life, which allows them to, or they value it, but not to the extent like they don't believe it's the end all be all. So that allows them to have the motivation and like the courage to go, not even courage. That's really, I shouldn't even associate terrorism with that, but just like, I don't know, I guess stupidity to go and kill someone.
Right. Yeah. So like that, for example, that's a perfect example about, people not taking this life. I mean, taking it for granted, I guess you'd say, not living it, not being a part of it. And then that belief in the afterlife, it making them do such an extreme move as to just end this one quicker to go on to this next afterlife, which, I mean, I don't know. A lot of different people out there have different beliefs on what, fact is or proof is. But there hasn't been really any proof of any type of afterlife. There's been the stories and he says, she says about, oh, I died and I came back and this was all there and this was real, and I was in the clouds and it was amazing.
How do you explain that?
But that's what I'm saying. There's like different people have different, understandings of what proof is and what fact is. And for me, in my understanding of that, there is no fact as of right now that there's an afterlife. So to go and do something as so extreme as to blow yourself up, expecting that you're going to have virgins at the end of it, and nothing against anybody's religions and stuff out there, but like, you don't know that's the fucking case when you do it. Is it just going to bed, like Clay said? Is it night and then it's done?
Yeah.
What about you?
How do you,
Ian, what about you?
I was actually, I agree with Clay there. Growing up, going to church and everything like that, you have this thoughts of what it is after, you pass away. But I actually had a pretty interesting upbringing. My grandma was an astrologist, and she had like her own way of what she thought happened afterwards, and she thought of it as like different levels of learning. Like, this is one level, then there's another place, another universe that you go to. And I mean, when you're getting told this at 8 years old, you're like, what the hell?
Yeah, but that's also like, that can influence you though later on in life, whether you know it or not. Because if you were never exposed to something like that and you're only told about a certain other belief, then you might not have ever questioned it. You know what I mean? But because you're now exposed to kind of two separate beliefs, it's like now you've got, your world's a little bit more open than you thought it was.
Right. And I mean, even like going to church and sitting there hearing all one side and then someone else's perspectives. And I mean, honestly, my thoughts are a lot like Clay's, where, you pass away and that's it. Now, I kind of feel like there's some kind of, like he said, maybe not per se a spirit, but some kind of energy. But I just don't see that place up, that you go to up in the sky and all that other stuff. So far, I haven't really felt like that's there. But you know what? I kind of hope I'm wrong sometimes. That's how I kind of feel. I'm like, you know what? It would be nice if that's actually what happens, So, but no one knows. Honestly, just no one knows. And you won't find out until that day.
Yeah, I got you. I got you.
And you hear about a lot of those stories, Rocco, that like, oh, I died and I came back and this and that. It could have been just your conscious dream while being knocked out. Who knows what that could have been? And on top of that, I believe there was a story about a little kid a long time ago that sat there and said, hey, he remembers being his birth and everything and what happened before that. And he was, and come to find out, it was a big ruse. His dad, told him to tell this story, And he finally came out later on, saying, "Oh yeah, that was pretty much all made up and was a lie," So that's
the thing too. Is it's like it's always hard because you're taking somebody's subjective experience and then try to make a fact out of it that you have no proof there. You don't know if that person's making up a story or they're not with that.
Right. And people would argue, and I was going to play devil's advocate there for a minute, because I know that people who believe in the afterlife and the heaven and hell experience, that they've heard people say, "Oh no, I saw the white light. I had this out of body experience." They say that they were describing things that only the doctor who was operating on the patient would know at the time.
Yeah.
Oh.
So there's like this, like, well, how the hell do they know that kind of stuff? So what do you say to that? Like, how do you explain things like that? What does that mean?
So, I don't know what that means and how do you explain those kind of different things. I mean, it also doesn't say that there is, an afterlife. That's not a fact of the idea of an afterlife. It's not the fact of an idea of like a, solidifying any type of spiritual beliefs or religious beliefs, to be honest, either. Like, I don't know. I think that's a tough question because that goes back into beliefs of like every individual themselves, and maybe we all have completely different answers of what we would find for the reasoning there happening. Like we're all saying about energy. My belief is kind of the same concept. It's like kind of this energy concept where you can't create it and you can't destroy it either, kind of deal, right? So it's always existing. There's no really end to it, no beginning to it. That it's like, okay, so maybe we are a part of this thing, where we think that we're, at the end of the day, maybe it's just a big energy recycling system. Maybe it is lights out, die, game over, which to my point, one thing I was going to say is I have a belief kind of in reincarnation. I can see that in myself, that I have that there, but I'm a skeptic still a lot. Like I have that belief. I can kind of feel it in there. And I think it's more just kind of like a hoping than in anything else. But, I also know that there is no fact to that belief whatsoever. There's nothing there that says, oh, yeah, game over. Argue with this person till the end of days because that's a fact. It's like, no, I know it's not. It's just a belief at the end of the day. So I sit there and I do a lot of different kinds of meditations and things on death. And it might sound morbid, but I do it because I'm thinking about like living life right now. Like if I was to die and it's lights out, it's game over. There's nothing else at the end. No reincarnation, no clouds, no fun people to enjoy. This is it. Then it makes me feel like, well, then today is going to be an amazing day, not just a mediocre day that I just get through really the emotions.
Cool. Yeah.
Because that's like just doing this whole like complacency through life, thinking that there's eternity left for you later, which means who gives a shit really about 100 years of your life when you got so much more waiting, down the road. And even at a subconscious level, we make decisions based off of that, whether we know it or not. Because if I'm dying and it's lights out kind of deal, and say that death's gonna happen tomorrow, I feel like I'm gonna do so many different. I would do so many different things expecting that, like I'm not going to be able to do these things ever again. I kind of want to experience all this stuff in this life then.
Yeah.
And I think that was a little tangent, but going on the topic about the surgery situations, I don't know. See, that's where this is a belief again. It's a belief, but maybe consciousness, which we all feel is like individualized, maybe it's really not individualized and it's really just one big thing. So, yes, they're operating on your body, but your body's not really you. You are the consciousness at the end of the day, where maybe you are able to observe any and everything that's existing at all times. And that's the only reason why you're kind of experiencing that at that time. But that leads into my belief of the whole, like, well, then I guess there's kind of like a life after this, Maybe you just became that one consciousness and not like this individualized Rocco spirit existing and floating around doing my thing. Maybe it's just back into the energy pool that is one thing and that's it. It's like a recycling system, Yeah,
and I feel like that Rocco energy would be a creepy energy that like kind of lingered in the corner and like, dude.
Man, it only shows up when I'm naked and after the shower. It's so strange. Why is it cold on my neck?
Why is that a video camera? He doesn't.
Yeah, who turned this on?
Like he's in. Yeah, it's crazy.
What about you, Steve? Man, do you have any type of beliefs in some type of afterlife? And do you?
My beliefs when I was younger was just what I was told as far as like God, and Jesus and everything like that. Like, but the thing was, it was mainly stories that they were talking about. When you got it, and you're just like, it was something you had to do on a Sunday, and everything you had to go. But my beliefs have changed lately. I guess mainly they're more kind of like along the lines of your beliefs, Rocco. Just as far as like energy and everything like that, and that it's just constant. And there is probably a higher power out there, but it's like more like a source like of energy and everything. Right. I don't believe that there's somebody up there watching everything that you're doing and just that just deciding your fate or letting you do whatever you want to do. You know what I mean? I just don't believe that's going on. I think that there's a lot of different versions of the Bible out there, and there's everyone has their own beliefs, and you got to respect that. and everything.
So what do you think about like the afterlife? If you believe about like some single source kind of thing, like what does that mean?
I mean, yeah, I think you end up doing something after you die. I mean, yeah, it's probably a constant energy. You keep going and everything like that, obviously, because I mean, I just don't believe that there's like like what Clay was saying, there's a giant party afterwards or something like that. You know what I mean?
There's piss pool.
So we've all kind of said that like the energy concept, the like kind of recycling sort of thing. What does that mean for us though? Like let's get a little deeper. Like what does that entail? You know,
For me, that's where
it might be a soul. I mean, other people would probably think of it as a soul. You know what I mean?
So what is that? I mean, let's still say like go deeper. What is that?
To me, it's really
it's like
just
the
those
gushy
instances.
stuff inside. Go ahead, Clay. Sorry.
It's those instances where you have like I don't know, those ghost experiences, those spiritual experiences, those times where you see a dog look up in the corner and like just bark or something.
So that's it. We're just kind of a floaty, transparent energy system, just
honestly
wandering around.
Yeah, I like to think of it, and this doesn't mean I believe it, but I like to think of it as that only happens when someone is left with things that they still need to do, right? Like people, do you think people would try to have things left to do in life if they were like, man, shit, it means kind of like game over, or I've got some haunting to do? Yeah, there's
a
reason.
Kind of exist.
I don't think that is. I don't think that is a pleasurable experience. There's a reason why our culture and folklore and stories and have passed down about these like spirits who can't find rest. And it sounds haunting, and it sounds tiring, and it sounds uncomfortable. I think there is a moment where these spirits want to say goodbye to their loved ones, and then they're free to like kind of like finally rest. And then there's this instance where they can't rest because they feel like they have something left to do, and they're restless, right? So, and I don't want to be like that. I want to be able to kind of go to sleep and just like and be good. I don't know. I really don't believe the energy transfers. Like we're talking about this spiritual, this energy, this like vibe. Like I think we're starting to go into like existentialism. But like I don't know that the energy can float and it can feel a little bit, but I don't think it has necessarily a conscious thing. You know what I mean? I don't think it's like, and I'm getting really like just like maybe.
Well, we're talking about afterlife, so it's gonna go into all that.
Yeah, and right. I don't think it goes into a tree or a dog or you become like a cockroach or anything like that. Like I and there's the old adage, not the old adage. There's like what Edison said, right? Like energy cannot be created nor destroyed; it can only be transferred. But that doesn't mean it's going to be transferred in parallel. It doesn't mean that one energy goes into the next, right? Like it's weird. Like that's a whole nother layer. Like we're birthing babies faster, I believe, than people are dying. So it's not like there is like if we're gonna throw energies and spirits into the same pool as Edison's thought of energy not being created nor destroyed, I think it gets broken, right? Because the babies that are like the more babies that are having are obviously coming from something. So it's not like. So there's if we're believing this energy, there is the creation of new energy and the destruction of the energy. There is no transfer.
How about this, Clay? How about you make up your own and say, after you die, your energy gets transferred to a parallel universe and you become Batman for that life.
Fucking sign me up. What religion? I am a follower of the Landis.
Sign me up. Dude, man, when I die, like I don't shit what I do in this life, but when I die, I'm being Batman in the next life. Check that out.
And also with you. And I'll be the Batman.
So like that kind of your spirit kind of story situation with is like you got to learn a lesson to be able to move on to that like deep sleep kind of deal. I don't know
about a lesson, but just
or just learn or.
I don't even have to learn anything. Just feel like you've left. Like if Rocco, if you died today, would you feel like you'd have unfinished business?
I think everybody would feel that way at death. They probably have some type of unfinished business at some point because I think death is usually unexpected, like even when it's expected, there's still people that would still say, I have stuff, that I would have loved to have gone and still did.
Yeah.
You know, like.
I forgot the diva of that
But
show.
then there would be. I mean, I feel like then at that point there would be hauntings fucking everywhere. Like, you know
Well,
what
I mean,
Like,
maybe, but like, but there's haunting, and then maybe there's that guardian angel vibe. Like, it doesn't have to be haunting, but like, maybe you really want to see, like, you're not ready to rest, and your spirit, your energy, just is so tied to your family. You want to see them succeed, and so maybe that's where like Karina and like people. Oh man, I feel like someone was just watching over me when I made that decision or when I had that experience. And it's like maybe that's your energy because you left this world way too early, and you can't rest until you see your family like get to a point where you're happy, and then you can finally go on. Doesn't mean you have to haunt them, and it doesn't mean. Sorry, we have a freeze there.
Yep. There we go. And we're back.
But yeah, so just saying, like, I mean, I could see a situation where it's a good haunting. It's a watching over type of. Spirit.
I gotcha. Watching over type of spirit.
and kind of just go a little bit further on Clay's point there. So think of this, like sometimes I the universe and everything is just so massive that we're technically almost just like a bacteria on Earth. So
we are, yeah.
We just keep spreading and growing on it and kind of taking over Earth. So sometimes I think that way, and I'm like, okay, well.
Can I get a shirt with the quote, "We're just bacteria on Earth," and like Professor Ian, like on the back? I just want someone to be like, "Oh, cool,"
like,
or like
in his Whole Foods bag.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It just like in his bag.
It starts to blow your mind when you realize how big the universe is, and that, and then I just start to think, well, why would we be so special to go to somewhere? Nothing else, no other creation. I don't know. So that's just my train of thought sometimes too.
Well, so I don't know. I mean, this is crazy out there and stuff. But the universe is so massive, and that babies, coming in, high crazy numbers here on the planet Earth can mean that there's frickin' energy transfer possibly from somewhere way the hell out. You know what I mean? Like we're talking about super, super massive beyond any of our comprehensions. You know what I mean? Like. Mm-hmm. Who knows with that? It could be a transfer system. It could be like I don't know. Like it could be you die and you end up. I was playing off of the astrology of your grandmother, Ian, which is the idea of like, okay, death leads to lessons, almost like it's like the life is a big schoolroom and you have to learn from it. There's beliefs out there which are more Buddhism, which is about karma-based, like a karma-based belief, which is like, okay, it's all about learning the things that you keep making mistakes on and changing those things in life and to go into a different direction, which is essentially releasing karma. You know what I mean? Yeah. So what if it is something like that? What if it is that what if there is actually an afterlife, and it's not an afterlife like, you're floating around in the clouds, but you die and then you go right into another life, whatever that be. I don't know.
With the lessons learned?
No, without the lessons learned. With the lessons learned that you learned in that life.
Yeah.
And any lessons you didn't learn, you bring back into the next one, and you start this whole thing over to relearn that lesson until you've pretty much achieved perfection, essentially.
Yeah, and maybe that's and that's how we get people like the Edisons. And Edison was actually a dick. But maybe that's how we get the people like Einstein's.
Did
I say Edison?
Ones that are just those
energy
one
can't
in
be transferred. That's Einstein. I apologize.
The one in the trillions kind of deal.
Einstein's
you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, Einstein said energy can't be transferred nor destroyed. Not Edison. I'm sorry.
Einstein was
I must sound like an asshole right there. People
So now,
like, click, I'm out.
to go off of Rocco's thing here, what would you guys give your grade for your learning for this life?
I'd say I'm probably. There's lessons that I feel like I've learned, and I see there's lessons that I continually keep doing. I'm observing, I'm aware of, but it's like they just seem to be a part of me as much as like I'm trying to break them away, like. Yeah, well, what grade? I would say I probably got a C right now. I'm just doing average.
Yeah, same here.
I'm a borderline DC.
I'm a borderline
so you're kind of passing, but you're just right on the border.
Right.
What about you? Ian? You can go just go.
A plus all day.
A plus all day.
I think I'm like a C plus-ish.
C plus-ish. Yeah.
How about you, Clay?
He said
a
C
minus or a C.
Borderline D.
I have very lofty expectations of myself.
That's what I do too.
If I'm not balling,
Yeah,
and,
it's-
like saving the world. Like I ain't doing.
Think
good.
you're not doing it right, you know?
If
Like,
you were Batman,
Like if
What
I'm
would
like
you give-
if I'm like Bill Gates, he's acing, right?
he's acing.
Donald
Yeah.
Trump, I'll give him a B because he's wealthy, but he's a dick. So he's still got that like last piece to figure
B
it out.
minus,
Right? Like
B
he's
minus.
like it's like.
But at the
it's
end of
like-
the day, it's all their individual lessons though. So like me, I would give him not a B, you know, I'd give him like a D because I see my lessons as like a worldview lessons, and I feel like he's completely off path.
yeah,
you
but
know?
like think about okay, so he's got the like it's like Bill Gates without the moral structure, right? So he's got all those lessons, and once he gets that piece in, I feel like he's the A. So it's like there was somebody before Bill Gates and Donald Trump that was Donald Trump, and he sucked. This guy sucked. He died. His energy got transferred. We got Bill Gates. Which
I
is
get what you're
awesome,
saying.
right?
You're
You know what I
saying
mean?
as in,
That's
like
the
yeah,
next step.
like the expansion of like
Yeah.
humanity. Like
Yeah, yeah.
these guys led to, you know, crazy futures.
And before
What would you
Donald
give
Trump,
Tom
But
Brady?
Trump, like, but
would
Trump,
you give Tom Brady?
what would I give Tom Brady? I mean, as much
he'd
as I
be like
hate
a
him,
B, bro. He would be like a B.
plus. I give him a B plus.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's just being reincarnated into it from Q. He was from the beginning days of football. He was probably the QB.
That's
back
pretty
then.
good considering how much Clay hates Tom Brady.
I
Yeah.
hate him, but he's got his life together. He just whines a lot
Yeah.
and he cries a lot. I guess. I don't
So
know.
I mean, I guess it's like it's you know it looking at it though I really truly think, and this is my opinion, that your perspective on your afterlife really is a subtle deciding factor in how you make decisions in life and what you decide to do, you know, with your daily, you know, with your day just in general. Like,
Oh, of
do you,
course.
you live it to the fullest? Do you just kind of go through the motions, you know?
I wanted to share. I think I've mentioned this before, but for those who have not heard before, or just joining us, I really connect with the religion of called Possibilian.
Possibilian.
Yeah, so if you guys haven't heard of this or seen
No.
this, there's a great TED Talk on Possibilians. You should check it out.
Okay.
And it really matches my like always like open-mindedness and like acceptance. Like basically it's they will believe in everything until it is proven false. So someone can come up and be like, dude, I believe in aliens from Hamburger Planet. They're like, "Pfft, awesome. So do we. That's cool. Until it's proven wrong. You know what I
Is
mean?
that
They're like,
extra
that could
cheese?
happen. It's totally possible. And so
Yeah,
they're
so cool.
really, really like open and accepting of all religion types. You know, they're not shutting one thing out or being too like until it's proven wrong. They'll like
And
throw
that's
it
the
up.
kind of way that I feel. You know, I've got certain things that I lean towards a little bit more than others because there's a bunch of different beliefs out there on it. But at the same time, there's no proof on denying any of them either. So I mean, they are all possibilities as of right now until they're proven
Yeah.
wrong. It's like you know
Right.
the spaghetti monster in space. They're, I don't
Yeah.
Watch out for it.
how who knows, man.
Go for it.
I think I don't know. Like there's any possibility there's something on the other side of the universe is like
Yeah.
prone to be some crazy monster that looks like spaghetti and
Yeah.
eat shit. You know?
Yeah.
Like-
We're just bacteria.
yeah, exactly. We're just bacteria. We're gonna make a shirt made like
Hey,
that,
did you
dude.
guys know that this episode was brought to you by Whole Foods?
What? There
Yeah,
is.
it was brought to you by Whole Foods.
Is it
They
100%
have
the
they have
mustached Whole Foods.
They have paper bags for you, not plastic bags, and you can get a lot of food. Yeah, sure, it's a little bit expensive, but wouldn't you want to pay a higher price to get better foods, knowing that it's organic and high quality?
There
Look,
it
no
is.
GMOs. You can get a lot of different stuff. It's all paper bags. It's great for the environment. They keep it green. Okay, go to Whole Foods.
Steven's looking at you like, holy shit, he really has a promo for Whole
Yeah,
Foods.
this is great, man. I was like, damn, I want to go to Whole Foods. and it becomes a mask for your kids afterwards.
Yeah,
There
you
you
can
go.
make a little mask for it. Halloween's coming up. It's
Oh.
really great.
If
Oh
you're
wait,
poor,
Halloween's not
do
coming
it.
up. It's past Halloween right now.
Oh yeah, it's past Halloween. What time this is coming? Look, if you're moving, they got boxes. Just go to them. It's free. You can be like, hey, can I have some of your cardboard boxes? They got plenty of them. Okay.
Yeah,
Check
Clay,
it
that was
out.
pretty good, man. Did you have that written down somewhere?
No, I didn't.
Oh.
Off the cuff. I've won
Yeah.
multiple awards for improvisational
Multiple
speaking.
awards.
Yeah, I have. We can go
Have
on
you
that a
really?
little bit later.
Oh
All
gosh.
right, how about this one? Brought to you by this.
Starbucks. I'm not gonna do this right now because we gotta keep going.